Malik was just a 12-year-old boy with a big heart and an even bigger curiosity about the world around him. He lived in a small apartment with his mother and his little sister in a neighborhood where life was not always easy. The streets were busy, filled with honking cars, neighbors chatting on corners, and kids running around after school. Despite all this, Malik had a way of noticing things most people overlooked. He had learned early that helping others, no matter how small the act, made life feel lighter and brighter. It was a warm Saturday afternoon, the kind of day when the sun made everything seem alive and buzzing with possibility. Malik had been helping his mother run errands. He carried grocery bags, ran to the corner store, and even helped a neighbor carry a box of clothes upstairs. His mother often reminded him, "Malik, helping people is good, but don't forget to take care of yourself too." Malik smiled and nodded, but deep down he felt that helping was just who he was. As he walked down one of the busier streets on his way home, Malik noticed a sleek, shiny black car pulled over near the curb. Its tires were large and expensive looking, and the car itself seemed out of place in his neighborhood. A man in a crisp suit and polished shoes stood beside it, looking frustrated. He was trying to loosen the lug nuts on the tire, twisting and turning with a wrench, but the tire wouldn't budge. Malik slowed down, curious. Even from a distance, he could tell that the man was struggling. Malik's first thought was simple: he could help. He had learned a few things from watching his uncle fix cars in the past, and he wasn't afraid to try. Hesitating only for a moment, he walked up to the man and said politely, "Excuse me, sir. Do you need some help?" The man looked up, surprised to see a boy standing there. "Well, I might," he said cautiously. He didn't expect anyone, especially a young boy, to offer assistance. Malik held the wrench confidently and knelt by the tire, showing the man exactly how to loosen the nuts without causing any damage. Minutes passed, and together, they managed to get the tire off and replace it with the spare. Malik worked quickly, carefully, and efficiently. He didn't rush, but he also didn't waste a moment. The man, who introduced himself as Mr. Thompson, watched him closely, clearly impressed. When the task was finished, Malik stepped back, wiped his hands on his jeans, and smiled. "There you go, sir, that should do it," he said. Mr. Thompson inspected the tire, testing it, and nodded in approval. He looked at Malik with something between amazement and curiosity. "You did this yourself?" he asked. "Yes, sir," Malik replied, shrugging modestly. "I've helped my uncle before. It's not too hard once you know how." Mr. Thompson's eyes softened. There was something about the boy's confidence and calmness that caught him off guard. He had met many people in his life, traveled all over the world, and seen all kinds of talent, but there was a spark in Malik that he couldn't ignore. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a few dollars. "Here," he said, "for your help." Malik shook his head quickly. "No, sir, I don't need it. I was happy to help." His honesty was genuine, and it made Mr. Thompson smile. It was rare to find someone so young who offered help without expecting anything in return. After a moment of small talk, Malik thanked him once more and continued his walk home. He didn't realize at the time that this small encounter would plant a seed that could change the rest of his life. Mr. Thompson stayed in his car for a moment, staring after the boy as he disappeared down the street. He thought about how rare it was to meet someone with such intelligence, humility, and determination all at once. For Malik, the day continued like any other. He arrived home with his groceries, greeted his little sister with a playful ruffle of her hair, and helped his mother put everything away. They sat down for a simple lunch, talking about school, chores, and weekend plans. Malik's mother noticed that he seemed a little more thoughtful than usual. "Everything okay, Malik?" she asked. "Yes, Mama," he replied, a small smile on his face. "Just thinking about how some people need help, even if they look like they have everything." His mother nodded knowingly. She had always taught Malik to be kind, but she also worried about him. "You have a good heart, Malik," she said. "Just make sure people don't take advantage of it." Malik laughed softly. "I'll be careful, Mama. I promise." That evening, Malik sat by his window looking out at the city. He liked to watch the world from up high, imagining all the different lives people led. Some were wealthy, some struggled. but he believed everyone had a story worth noticing. He thought again about the man with the flat tire and how different his life must be from theirs. But even though Mr. Thompson had money and comfort, Malik realized that kindness and courage were qualities that money could never buy. Over the next few days, Malik didn't think much about the man in the luxury car. He was busy with school, homework, and helping his mother at home. Yet he felt a quiet sense of pride. He had done something good without expecting anything in return, and that made him feel strong in a way he hadn't felt before. Meanwhile, Mr. Thompson couldn't stop thinking about the boy. He had met many people who helped him, but most of them expected something back. Malik's willingness to assist someone he didn't know, his intelligence and his calm, polite demeanor stayed with Mr. Thompson. He began asking around his neighborhood discreetly, trying to find out more about this boy who had impressed him so much. Malik, completely unaware of this, continued living his life with simple routines. He went to school, played basketball, with friends helped his mother with chores and looked after his little sister. He was known in the neighborhood as a helpful and bright kid, always ready with a kind word or a helping hand. Despite the challenges his family faced, Malik carried himself with quiet confidence and optimism. One afternoon, Malik was walking home from school when he noticed a black SUV slowly rolling down his street. The driver's window was down and a familiar face peeked out. "Malik," the man called. Malik froze for a moment, surprised. It was Mr. Thompson. "Yes, sir?" Malik replied cautiously, unsure why this wealthy stranger was approaching him again. "Would you and your mother like to come have lunch with me tomorrow?" Mr. Thompson asked. "I'd like to get to know you better." Malik was taken aback. No one from his neighborhood ever invited them anywhere fancy. He looked at his mother later that evening and told her about the invitation. She was hesitant at first but saw the genuine kindness in Mr. Thompson's eyes when Malik recounted the moment. "This could be a good opportunity for you, Malik," she said softly. "Sometimes life gives you chances in unexpected ways. Don't be afraid to take them." The next day, Malik and his mother arrived at a restaurant chosen by Mr. Thompson. It wasn't like any place Malik had been before. The tables were neatly arranged, the air smelled of delicious food, and the staff greeted them warmly. Despite the elegance of the place, Malik stayed humble, remembering his manners and the lessons his mother had taught him. Over lunch, Mr. Thompson asked Malik about school, his dreams, and his hobbies. Malik talked about how much he loved reading, learning about computers, and helping people in his community. He spoke with honesty and enthusiasm, never exaggerating or trying to impress. Mr. Thompson listened intently, asking questions and offering encouragement. By the end of lunch, Malik felt a strange sense of possibility he had never felt before. He realized that the world was bigger than his neighborhood, and that people outside his immediate environment could see his potential. Mr. Thompson, on the other hand, left the restaurant that day thinking about how rare it was to meet a young person like Malik, someone who had a bright mind, a kind heart, and the drive to make something of himself despite his circumstances. That simple act of helping a stranger with a flat tire had set in motion a chain of events that neither Malik nor Mr. Thompson could have predicted. What started as a small gesture of kindness had the power to change a young boy's life forever, opening doors to opportunities and experiences that would shape his future in ways he could never have imagined. And for Malik, it was just the beginning of a journey that would teach him that courage, kindness, and determination could carry him further than he ever dreamed possible. The morning after the lunch with Mr. Thompson, Malik couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. It was unlike anything he had experienced before. Usually, life in his neighborhood followed a simple, predictable rhythm: school, helping his mother, running small errands, and spending time with his little sister. But meeting Mr. Thompson had opened a new window, one filled with curiosity and possibilities he had never dared to imagine. As he walked to school that morning, Malik replayed the conversation in his head. He remembered how patient Mr. Thompson had been, how he had asked about Malik's dreams without judgment, and how he had genuinely seemed interested in who Malik was, not just what he could do. Malik realized that there were people in the world who could see potential beyond circumstances, people who could give guidance and opportunities if they chose to. At school, Malik's friends noticed a subtle change in him. He seemed more thoughtful, more confident, and more aware of the world beyond their neighborhood. Some of them teased him, saying, "What, you suddenly fancy yourself rich now?" Malik just smiled politely, knowing that they didn't understand. For him, it wasn't about money. It was about the possibility of learning, growing, and seeing what the world had to offer. Later that day, Malik's teacher, Ms. Rivera, called him over after class. She had noticed his quiet diligence and curiosity, often asking insightful questions in lessons and helping classmates who struggled. "Malik," she said, "I hear you helped someone with a flat tire recently. That's impressive. You have a natural ability to solve problems and stay calm under pressure." Malik shrugged, feeling a little embarrassed by the praise. "I just wanted to help, Ms. Rivera," he said softly. Ms. Rivera smiled. "It's rare to see someone so young with that kind of character. Keep being yourself, Malik. People notice these things even when you don't realize it." After school, Malik returned home to the small apartment he shared with his mother and sister. His mother was preparing dinner, her hands moving quickly as she chopped vegetables and stirred a pot. Malik helped set the table, thinking about what he would tell her. "Mama," he began cautiously, I think Mr. Thompson really wants to help me learn more things. He invited us to lunch and he asked about my dreams in school." His mother looked up, a mixture of curiosity and caution on her face. "He did? That's unexpected," she said slowly. She paused, weighing her words. "Malik, you know I always want what's best for you, but we need to be careful. Sometimes people say they want to help, but their intentions aren't always pure." Malik nodded, understanding her concern. "I know, Mama, but he seemed different. He really wanted to know who I am, not just what I can do. I think he can help me learn things I wouldn't get anywhere else." His mother studied him for a moment, seeing the sincerity in his eyes. She finally smiled, a small, proud smile. "All right, Malik, I trust your judgment. Let's see what this opportunity brings." The next week, Malik and his mother visited Mr. Thompson's office, a modern building filled with glass walls, quiet offices, and people moving quickly but purposefully. Malik had never seen anything like it. The hustle of the place was exciting, but it also made him nervous. He held his mother's hand tightly as they entered the building. Mr. Thompson greeted them warmly, shaking their hands and showing them to a small meeting room. He began by asking Malik about his favorite subjects in school, what he enjoyed doing in his free time, and what he dreamed of becoming one day. Malik answered honestly, talking about his love for computers, his curiosity about technology, and his interest in learning new skills that could help others. Mr. Thompson listened carefully, nodding and asking questions to encourage him. "Malik," he said, "you have a sharp mind and a good heart. Many people your age don't think about helping others or learning new skills with such focus. I think you have real potential." Malik felt a warmth in his chest. For the first time, someone outside his family was recognizing not just what he did, but who he was. It was a new feeling, one that made him want to work harder, learn more, and explore opportunities he had never considered. Over the next few weeks, Mr. Thompson began introducing Malik to new experiences. He invited him to workshops, showed him computer programs, and introduced him to professionals who could teach him skills beyond what he learned in school. Malik soaked it all in, eager to learn, ask questions, and understand how the world of technology and business worked. One day, Mr. Thompson handed Malik a small laptop. "This is for you," he said. "I want you to practice coding, learn how to create programs, and explore your interests. Don't worry about being perfect. Just start learning." Malik couldn't believe it. He had never owned a computer of his own before. His hands trembled slightly as he opened it and explored the keys, the screen lighting up with endless possibilities. "Thank you, sir," Malik said softly, feeling a mix of gratitude and excitement. "You're welcome, Malik. Remember, this is just the beginning," Mr. Thompson replied with a smile. Malik threw himself into learning with everything he had. He spent hours after school practicing coding, exploring new programs, and figuring out ways to create simple applications. His mother watched with amazement as Malik's skills grew each day. She noticed the excitement in his eyes and the confidence in his posture. For her, it was incredible to see her son thrive in ways she had only dreamed of. Word of Malik's progress began to spread quietly in the neighborhood. Neighbors noticed that he spent less time just playing and more time learning, helping, and experimenting. Some kids teased him for being different, but Malik didn't mind. He was too focused on the opportunities in front of him, knowing that learning and growing were more important than fitting in. One afternoon, Malik was invited to meet some of Mr. Thompson's colleagues, engineers, designers, and young entrepreneurs who shared their experiences and insights. Malik listened intently, asked questions, and even shared some of his small projects. The adults were impressed by his curiosity, creativity, and willingness to learn. They encouraged him to keep practicing, to challenge himself, and to believe that he could achieve great things if he continued to work hard. Malik's mother often accompanied him to these sessions, sitting quietly and observing as her son interacted with people from a world she had never known. She saw how these experiences transformed him, how his confidence grew, and how he began to dream bigger. For her, it was a mixture of pride and hope, a hope that her son could break free from the limitations their neighborhood often imposed. During this time, Malik also learned about the importance of character. Mr. Thompson emphasized that talent alone was not enough. Kindness, honesty, and perseverance mattered just as much. "Malik," he said one day, "people will notice what you do, but they will remember who you are. Always be the kind of person who helps others, stays humble, and works hard. That's how you make a real difference in the world." Malik took these words to heart. He continued helping neighbors with small tasks, tutoring younger children in his apartment complex, and sharing what he had learned with anyone who wanted to listen. He realized that his actions, no matter how small, could inspire others and create a ripple effect of positivity. One evening, Malik sat on the rooftop of their apartment building, looking out over the city. The streets below were alive with movement, cars, pedestrians, lights flickering in windows. He thought about how his life had begun to change in just a few weeks. What started as a simple act of helping a man with a flat tire had led to new experiences, new skills, and a new sense of possibility. Malik's heart was full of gratitude, not just for the opportunities he was receiving, but for the lesson he had learned, that kindness and courage could open doors in ways he had never imagined. He knew that his journey was just beginning, that there were challenges ahead, and that the road to achieving his dreams would require dedication, focus, and resilience. But Malik was ready. He had tasted what it felt like to be recognized for his potential, to be encouraged, and to be given tools to grow. And with each passing day, he felt more confident that he could not only change his own life but also inspire others around him to reach for something greater. And so, Malik's ordinary days began to take on a new rhythm, one filled with learning, curiosity, and hope. He had stepped into a world that seemed far beyond his reach, but now he understood that with determination, a good heart, and the guidance of someone who believed in him, anything was possible. The journey that had begun with a flat tire was now a journey of discovery, growth, and transformation, a journey that would shape Malik's future in ways he had only dreamed of. The weeks turned into months, and Malik's life began to change in ways he had never imagined. The laptop Mr. Thompson had given him became his constant companion. He spent hours after school experimenting with programs, creating simple applications and learning coding languages that sounded complicated but slowly started to make sense to him. He discovered that he could solve problems by thinking creatively and carefully, and that gave him a new kind of confidence. Malik's mother watched him with a mixture of pride and amazement. She had always known her son was special, but seeing him embrace these new opportunities so eagerly filled her with hope. She often reminded him to rest and eat properly, but Malik was so excited about learning that he sometimes forgot to stop. "Malik," she would say gently, "even the brightest stars need a little sleep." He would laugh and nod, promising to take care of himself, though he couldn't hide the sparkle in his eyes. Mr. Thompson continued to mentor Malik, but now the relationship had deepened. He introduced Malik to people from his professional network, engineers, entrepreneurs, and innovators who were willing to share their time and knowledge. Each meeting was an adventure for Malik. He listened intently, asked questions, and even showed some of the small programs he had been developing. Everyone was impressed by his curiosity and his willingness to learn. One afternoon, Mr. Thompson invited Malik to attend a small workshop at his office. It was filled with young adults and professionals who were working on innovative projects. Malik felt nervous at first, unsure if he belonged in such a setting. But as soon as he walked in, he realized that learning had no age limit. He sat quietly, absorbing everything around him, fascinated by the discussions, the problem-solving exercises, and the ideas being shared. During a break, one of the engineers noticed Malik looking at a complex coding screen. "Do you want to try it?" she asked. Malik nodded eagerly, and she guided him step by step. To his delight, he solved the problem faster than expected. The room erupted in quiet applause, and Malik felt a rush of pride. It was the first time he realized that his skills could match those of adults in the professional world. That evening, Malik walked home feeling inspired. He remembered how life had been a few months ago, helping his mother, running errands, and dreaming quietly about the future. Now he had real opportunities to learn, grow, and explore his potential. He knew it wasn't just about coding or technology. It was about believing in himself, taking chances, and being willing to work hard. At home, Malik shared everything he had learned with his mother. She listened carefully, smiling and asking questions, proud of the knowledge he was gaining and the maturity he was developing. She could see how much more focused and confident he had become. Even Malik's little sister noticed the difference. She would follow him around, asking him questions about computers, games, and how he solved certain problems. Malik patiently explained, knowing that teaching someone else was also a way to deepen his own understanding. One weekend, Mr. Thompson invited Malik to a local community center, where he was sponsoring a small technology program for children. Malik had the chance to meet other kids interested in learning, many of whom had never touched a computer before. He shared his knowledge with them, teaching basic coding skills and problem-solving techniques. The joy on their faces reminded Malik of why learning and helping others mattered. During this time, Malik also started to develop his own small projects. He designed a simple application to help students in his neighborhood organize their homework and track assignments. It was a modest idea, but the process taught him how to think logically, plan carefully, and persevere when things didn't work the first time. Each failure became a lesson, each success a small victory that encouraged him to keep going. Mr. Thompson noticed Malik's growing independence and creativity. One afternoon he said, "Malik, you've come a long way in a short time. Your talent is clear, but what impresses me most is your character. You're humble, kind, and willing to help others even when you don't have to. That's what will take you far in life." Malik felt a sense of pride but also humility. He realized that success wasn't just about learning skills or gaining recognition. It was about using what he had to make a difference in the lives of others. He began thinking more seriously about his future, imagining ways he could use technology to help his community, support his family, and create opportunities for other children like him. School became even more meaningful for Malik. He paid closer attention in his classes, not just for grades but for the knowledge that would help him grow. His teachers noticed the change as well. They were impressed by his focus, his willingness to ask thoughtful questions, and his ability to assist classmates who struggled with their lessons. Malik had become a quiet leader, someone others looked up to for guidance and encouragement. At home, Malik's mother supported his dreams as best as she could. She didn't have the resources to provide expensive tools or private lessons, but she gave him time, encouragement, and a safe space to explore his interests. She often reminded him, "Malik, no matter where life takes you, never forget who you are and where you come from." Malik promised her he wouldn't. As Malik's skills and confidence grew, Mr. Thompson decided to take things a step further. He offered to pay for Malik to attend an advanced computer camp during the summer, where he could learn from top instructors, meet other talented students, and gain exposure to real-world projects. Malik was overjoyed. It was the kind of opportunity he had never dreamed of, and he approached it with excitement and determination. The camp was an eye-opening experience. Malik learned new programming languages, worked on team projects, and participated in challenges that pushed him beyond his comfort zone. He made friends with other students who shared his passion for technology, and he realized that the world was full of people eager to share knowledge, collaborate, and innovate. Each day was filled with learning, problem-solving, and the thrill of discovery. One particular project involved designing a small app to help local communities track resources like food drives, tutoring programs, and volunteer opportunities. Malik poured his heart into it, thinking about how such a tool could help children and families in neighborhoods like his own. When the project was presented at the camp's showcase, the instructors praised Malik's creativity, dedication, and the practicality of his solution. It was a proud moment for him, a reminder that the work he did mattered, not just for himself but for others. Returning home from the camp, Malik felt inspired and motivated. He had learned so much, not just about technology, but about leadership, teamwork, and the impact one person could have when they worked with determination and a good heart. He shared his experiences with his mother, who listened with pride and amazement, realizing how far her son had come. Malik also understood the importance of balance. While he loved learning and exploring technology, he never forgot his responsibilities at home. He continued helping his mother, taking care of his sister, and supporting neighbors whenever he could. He knew that true growth came not only from gaining knowledge but also from living with kindness and integrity. One evening, Malik reflected on his journey so far. He thought about the day he had helped Mr. Thompson with the flat tire, the moment that had unknowingly started this chain of events. It amazed him how a simple act of kindness could ripple through life in ways he had never imagined. He realized that life was full of opportunities for those willing to act with courage, curiosity, and compassion. Malik began to dream bigger. He imagined attending a top university, learning from some of the best minds in the world, and using his skills to create meaningful projects that could help people everywhere. But he also remained grounded, knowing that every small step mattered and that he needed to keep learning, helping, and growing. Mr. Thompson continued to mentor Malik, offering guidance, encouragement, and support. But he also encouraged Malik to think independently, make decisions, and take responsibility for his learning. "Malik," he said one day, "I can guide you, but the future is yours to shape. The skills you learn, the choices you make, and the kindness you show will define the path you take." Malik listened carefully, understanding the weight of these words. He felt ready to embrace the challenges ahead, knowing that he had a foundation of skills, guidance, and character that would help him navigate life. He was no longer just a boy from a small neighborhood. He was a young person with dreams, determination, and a growing sense of purpose. And so, Malik's journey continued. Each day brought new lessons, new experiences, and new opportunities to grow. He knew that the road ahead would not always be easy, but he also knew that with hard work, kindness, and perseverance, he could achieve more than he had ever imagined. The act of helping a stranger with a flat tire had set him on a path of discovery, growth, and transformation, a path that was just beginning, but one that promised to change his life forever. Years passed, and Malik's life began to transform in ways he had never imagined. The shy, curious boy who once walked through his neighborhood helping neighbors with small tasks had grown into a confident young teenager with a strong sense of purpose. His days were still filled with school, helping his mother, and looking after his little sister, but now there was something more. He had opportunities to learn, to create, and to explore that few kids in his neighborhood had ever dreamed of. With Mr. Thompson's guidance, Malik had developed advanced skills in technology, coding, and problem-solving. But he also had learned about leadership, patience, and responsibility. Every person he met along the way had left a mark on him. Mentors who encouraged him, peers who challenged him, and children he taught who reminded him why his work mattered. Malik had grown to understand that knowledge alone wasn't enough. It was the combination of skill, heart, and effort that made someone truly successful. At school, Malik's teachers noticed the remarkable change in him. He was no longer just a good student. He had become a leader among his peers. He helped classmates with assignments, encouraged those who struggled, and shared ideas in class discussions with confidence and clarity. While other kids his age worried about popularity, Malik focused on learning and growth. His quiet determination set him apart, earning him respect and admiration from teachers and students alike. One day, Malik's principal called him into her office. "Malik," she said warmly, "I've noticed your dedication, your willingness to help others, and your leadership in the classroom. I want you to know that your hard work does not go unnoticed. You have real potential to do great things." Malik felt a mix of pride and humility. He knew that this recognition was encouraging, but he also understood that it came with responsibility to keep learning, growing, and helping others. Malik's projects at school and in the community had also started gaining attention. One of the applications he had developed, AI, programmed to help local children organize homework and track assignments, was being used by students in his neighborhood. Teachers praised him for thinking creatively and for making learning more accessible for other kids. For Malik, this was proof that his work could make a real difference, and it motivated him to dream even bigger. His relationship with Mr. Thompson had evolved as well. No longer just a mentor, Mr. Thompson had become a guide, a supporter, and a friend who believed in Malik's potential, even when Malik doubted himself. He introduced Malik to professionals who could offer advice, internships, and opportunities to showcase his skills. Malik met engineers, entrepreneurs, and innovators who encouraged him to think critically, to experiment boldly, and to never be afraid of failure. One afternoon, Mr. Thompson called Malik into his office with a smile. "Malik, I think you're ready for something bigger," he said. He explained that a technology company in the city was hosting a youth innovation program, inviting talented young students to participate in projects and competitions. Malik's eyes lit up. This was the kind of opportunity he had dreamed about, a chance to test his skills, meet peers with similar interests, and gain experience that could shape his future. The youth innovation program was challenging but exciting. Malik worked alongside other bright young minds on projects that involved coding, robotics, and problem-solving. He learned to collaborate, to handle setbacks, and to communicate his ideas effectively. Each day was filled with new lessons, small victories, and moments of creativity. Malik discovered that working in a team required patience and listening skills just as much as technical knowledge. One evening, after a long day at the program, Malik returned home exhausted but inspired. He shared everything he had learned with his mother, who listened with pride and amazement. She could see the spark in his eyes, the passion that had grown stronger over the years. She reminded him that while achievements were important, staying grounded and humble was equally vital. "Remember, Malik," she said softly, "success is meaningful only when it is shared with others." Malik took those words to heart. Even as he gained recognition, scholarships, and opportunities, he never forgot his neighborhood, his family, and the community that had shaped him. He continued tutoring younger children, helping neighbors with projects, and sharing his knowledge with anyone willing to learn. He understood that his skills were not just for personal gain, they were tools to make a positive impact. As Malik's reputation grew, local news outlets and community organizations began to notice him. Stories were written about the young boy who had once helped a stranger with a flat tire and had transformed his life through determination, kindness, and hard work. Malik was recognized for his projects, his leadership, and his commitment to helping others. Though the attention was flattering, Malik remained focused on his goals, never letting praise distract him from learning and growing. One day, Malik received a letter from a prestigious high school in the city offering him a scholarship. It was an opportunity he had worked hard for, a chance to study in an environment filled with resources, teachers, and peers who could challenge him to reach his full potential. Malik's mother cried tears of joy when they received the letter. She hugged him tightly, whispering, "You've come so far, my son. I'm so proud of you." Malik felt a surge of gratitude, not just for the opportunity, but for every person who had believed in him along the way. At the new school, Malik continued to excel. He immersed himself in advanced courses, technology projects, and extracurricular activities that challenged him in new ways. He learned about leadership, innovation, and collaboration on a level he had never experienced before. Yet despite the fast pace and high expectations, he never lost sight of his values. He remained humble, kind, and focused on helping others. Malik's time at the new school also opened doors for mentorship and networking. He met students from diverse backgrounds, each with their own dreams and challenges. Malik realized that he could learn just as much from them as they could from him. He began forming friendships built on mutual respect, shared interests, and a desire to create positive change. These connections taught him that success was not just about personal achievement. It was about collaboration, empathy, and the impact one could have on the lives of others. As Malik's skills and experiences grew, he began working on projects that had a real-world impact. He designed applications to help local communities access resources, organize learning programs, and share knowledge. He volunteered his time to teach younger children about technology, coding, and problem solving. Each project reinforced the idea that his talents could make a meaningful difference, not only in his life but in the lives of those around him. Mr. Thompson continued to play a vital role in Malik's journey. He offered advice, guidance, and encouragement, but he also challenged Malik to think independently and take ownership of his work. "Malik," he said one day, "you have the skills, the heart, and the determination. The world will notice what you do, but it will remember who you are. Keep being the person who lifts others while reaching for your own dreams." Malik took this advice seriously. He knew that success without character was empty, and that the way he treated people, the kindness he showed, and the efforts he made to help others were just as important as his achievements. He continued to grow, not just as a student or a coder, but as a thoughtful, compassionate young person ready to take on the world. By the end of his time at high school, Malik had earned recognition for his projects, leadership, and community contributions. He had opportunities to participate in national competitions, attend workshops, and meet influential figures in technology and business. His confidence had grown, but he remained humble, always remembering the simple act that had started it all, the day he helped Mr. Thompson with a flat tire. Malik's story had come full circle in many ways. The boy who once walked through his neighborhood with a kind heart and a willingness to help others had transformed into a young man with skills, opportunities, and the determination to make a difference. Yet he never forgot where he came from, the people who had shaped him, and the lessons he had learned about kindness, perseverance, and the importance of lifting others as he climbed. One evening, Malik sat with his mother on the rooftop of their apartment building, looking out over the city. The lights twinkled like stars and the streets below were filled with life. He thought about his journey, from helping a stranger with a flat tire to building applications, mentoring younger children, and achieving recognition for his work. Each step had taught him something valuable, and each opportunity had been a reminder that small acts of kindness and determination could lead to extraordinary outcomes. Malik's mother looked at him, her eyes filled with pride. "You've grown so much, Malik," she said softly. "You've not only achieved things I never dreamed of, but you've stayed true to your heart. I'm proud of the person you've become." Malik smiled, feeling gratitude, humility, and a sense of responsibility. He knew that his journey was far from over, but he felt ready to embrace whatever came next. And so, Malik's life continued on a path of growth, learning, and service. He had discovered that success was not measured only by what one achieved, but by the lives one touched, the kindness one shared, and the courage one displayed. What started as a simple, selfless act of helping someone in need had grown into a journey of opportunity, transformation, and hope. A journey that would continue to shape him and inspire others for years to come. By the time Malik graduated from high school, he had changed in ways no one could have imagined when he was just a boy helping a stranger with a flat tire. He was no longer the shy, curious child who walked through his neighborhood quietly observing the world. He had grown into a confident young man, full of ambition, knowledge, and determination. He had not only learned advanced technology and problem-solving skills, but he had also developed leadership, compassion, and a sense of responsibility that made him stand out wherever he went. The scholarship to a prestigious university had opened doors Malik had only dreamed about. For the first time, he stepped into a campus filled with opportunities, resources, and peers who shared his drive to learn and succeed. Everything seemed bigger and brighter than he had ever imagined. The classrooms, the labs, the libraries, and the people he met. Yet, despite the excitement, Malik stayed grounded. He remembered the streets of his neighborhood, the lessons his mother had taught him, and the small acts of kindness that had set him on this journey. Malik quickly adapted to university life. He immersed himself in computer science and entrepreneurship courses, eager to expand his skills and knowledge. Every class was an opportunity to learn something new, and every project was a challenge he embraced fully. He met students from all walks of life, each with unique talents, ideas, and perspectives. Malik listened, collaborated, and learned, understanding that success was not just about individual achievement but also about working with others and sharing knowledge.